gentlemen, rock and roll.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things from the 80s we'll never do again.
It's just the right time and just the right place.
For this list, we're looking at popular trends from the 80s that are now unfathomable. What's something else from the 1980s that no one does anymore? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Get Glamour Shots. Glamour photography has been around a long time. In the 80s, young kids would pop into the glamour studio at the mall and have an extra fancy photo session. There was typically at least one shot with some stylish hat, and the same recognizable backgrounds used for almost every customer. Clients were often accessorized with heavy makeup and clothes far too extravagant for them to wear on a daily basis. Throw in a feather boa and some gloves, and you've ticked off every glamour box from the 1980s. Glamorous pictures are still taken today, just minus the 80s accessories and massive hair. Number 9. Watch videos on MTV after school.
Announcing the latest achievement in home entertainment. The power of sight. Video. The power of sound. MTV Music Television.
On August 1st, 1981, music television, or MTV for short, launched on the airwaves. Music channels had been tried before, but MTV found its niche with younger audiences. Kids would come home from school, flip on the TV, and watch countless music videos of bands they had heard on the radio.
Turn it on! Leave it on! America! See the music you want to see!
I want my MTV. All right.
Soon, it became every musician's goal to have their newest videos shown on the network. The format was copied time and time again by other countries, but MTV was definitively at its heyday in the 80s. Music videos are now mainly seen on YouTube, while MTV-style stations run more reality-style shows.
Come at me! Come at me, bitch! Come at me!
Number 8. Go to a video rental store. Video might have killed the radio star, but it didn't take too long for streaming to obliterate the video store. The 1980s saw the VCR land in countless homes across the globe. And with it, video rental outlets began thriving.
Wow! Wow!
What a difference! Blockbuster Video!
Not only could you rent the latest films, but kids had access to dozens of video games they could try at home.
They have lots and lots of kids stuff for us.
It was a welcome surprise, although at first, movie studios opposed the entire concept of at-home viewing. Despite their decline, it's important to remember that if these stores had not existed, companies like Netflix may never have been born. After all, they started as a DVD rental company.
Netflix. All the movies you want, $20 a month, and no late fees.
Number 7. Do jazzercise. While visiting the aforementioned video store, you might have picked up a jazzercise tape. Workout fitness videos were all the rage during the 80s.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, last 8.
Jane Fonda had her own series, as did Richard Simmons. A lesser-known name might be that of Judy Shepard-Missett, who founded the jazzercise franchise in the late 1960s. While teaching dance, she learned that her students cared more about looking good than dancing well.
You'll be happy to know that while you're busy having fun dancing up a storm, your body will be getting a truly effective fat-burning aerobic workout.
That's when she had her proverbial light bulb moment. She franchised the concept in the 80s, which meant the workouts became available across the US. Like many other fitness fads, jazzercise is still around, but it is long past its peak.
The bigger the circle, the thinner the waist. If you want a boogie, get down on the dance floor. Let's go! Let's go! Woo!
Number 6. Make a mixtape. If you dig around your house, you might be able to find one of these. It's hard to fathom now, but mixtapes were pretty important back in the 1980s. At the time, people had to buy entire albums, so they'd often end up with dozens of tapes that only had a few songs they really liked. Music lovers would therefore record their favorite tracks onto their mix. After some waiting, they'd have the best collection of tunes from their catalog all in one place. And making someone a mixtape was just about the most romantic thing you could do. Yet with the introduction of single song purchases and eventually streaming services, playlists took over. Number 5. Attend chickenpox parties.
$15 to infect your kids. Now featuring the Poxbox. Poxbox not recommended for pregnant or nursing women. As with any disease box, results may vary.
They are far less common now, and certainly highly frowned upon. But there was a time when this was a real thing.
Well, they actually first started in the pre-vaccine era. The symptoms of the chickenpox tend to be more severe in older children, adolescents, and adults. So the idea was you really wanted to have your children become affected with the illness.
Get it out of the
early.
way.
Exactly.
Normally, chickenpox runs through your system and you never get it again. So the logic was to catch it as a child when it's far less dangerous. Parents would take never-infected kids and put them in the same room as someone with the pox in the hopes that everyone would get sick.
It's some kind of parental conspiracy. Our parents are trying to kill us or something.
This practice fell out of favor in the mid-90s when a vaccine for the disease became available. But although pox parties are a thing of the past, some families still have such gatherings for other viruses.
You know, when people want to take that risk with their children to go to these parties and let them give a natural immunity, they're rolling the dice essentially.
Number 4, wear shoulder pads in clothes.
God, Veronica, drool much? His name is Jason Dean.
Football players have been sporting shoulder pads for ages. The fashionable version was born in the 1930s. Although the trend continued here and there, the 1980s saw the square shoulder look for women make a huge comeback.
I had shoulder pads on everything small. My small dog walks around with shoulder pads. I think everyone should wear shoulder pads.
I have them in my pajamas, T-shirts, everything.
Shoulder pads.
You could take a simple T-shirt, add pads, belt it, look terrific.
It was thought to create a more outlined shape and helped define the business suit look of the time. Popular TV shows like Dynasty showcased high-class women wearing the notable look, making it all the more desirable.
You're bluffing, Crystal. You know you are. Am I? Watch me.
But much like parachute pants, it is a clothing trend that later died off. We'll still catch glimpses of shoulder pads from time to time, but they certainly don't carry the same weight as before. Number 3, get cassettes from Columbia House. When Columbia House first came along, they changed the music buying game. For just a penny, they would send you roughly 8 albums if you joined their club. It seemed like a revolutionary, cheap, and easy way to get lots of music very quickly.
Just find our ad. It's in your Sunday paper. Pick any 11 records or tapes for a penny and see how to get even more music free.
But things soured just as fast. Members didn't necessarily realize they'd signed up to automatically be sent cassettes they didn't want. And they were on the hook to pay higher than retail value for them if they didn't opt out in time.
If you didn't do that in time, or if you just forgot, you would be shipped that record, and of course you would be billed for it.
Needless to say, it didn't take long before the company's billing tactics caught up with them. Number 2, skip seatbelts. In most parts of the world today, people automatically put their seatbelts on when entering a car. They've been proven to save lives time and time again. Yet in the 1980s, buckling up wasn't as commonplace.
I oppose it on the basis that it replaces the free will of the individual with the desires of the state.
Many boomers and Generation Xers have stories of riding around town without having to put theirs on. It was a time when safety laws were far less strict, and consumers had a bit more choice as to how safe they could be.
I was totally shocked that Alberta would pass a seatbelt law. It just didn't seem like the kind of thing that people in cattle country would take.
Even the requirement for bike helmets didn't come into play until many years later. As the decade moved along, seatbelts became the norm and are now a standard part of our driving routine.
Encourage the people you care about to buckle up. Let's work together to save lives.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, buy cigarettes with a note from your parents. In 2021, you can expect to get carded when buying cigarettes. But if you roll the calendar back to the 1980s, all you needed to make such a purchase was a note from your parents. It sounds baffling today, but it's true.
Well, they're not for me, they're for my parents. My mom gave me this list of notes, she even signed it.
Crossing the street and going into the gas station, kids simply had to show a slip to the cashier that said they had permission to get the product. Often, the workers would know the families, so sales were made all too easily. Obviously, this practice is now long gone, as far tighter restrictions have been put in place.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.